This is going to be a pearlescent painting, pearlescent pour, but I'm starting it out by covering this pink canvas. Again, not because I wanted pink, but because that's what they had. And it's a circular canvas, and I'm covering it with phthalo green, which is translucent. I'm just going to paint it on all over and then spread it. It's not quite liquid, but it's leftover liquid mixed with a bit of solid green, so I do need a bit more liquid just to spread it. I'll bring you back when I've done that. The painting is dried, and now with some iridescent orange yellow I'm going to just sketch on lightly some koi fish. I said this is going to be a pearlescent pour. The fish will be swimming in the pond under the pearlescent pour, and koi fish are orange. They seem to have different varieties again. Some are orange and with bits of black in between, and some have silver in between. And I don't know how much is going to. Well, the orange is not bright enough, so I'm doing another layer, and then I'll do some silver. And I love the pearlescent as it turned out in my painting of fruit in a bowl. Formed a lovely glass bowl, but I haven't, and it showed up the colours underneath, which part of the colours I used in the fruit and some I didn't use. I just left as background, and it looked quite nice. So I thought it could work in this painting, but I don't know exactly how much of the fish would show through. And I'm going to need to put the water lilies kind of around them or over them, some of them, and then there need to be some leaves around the edge of the pond. So it's a lot of unknowns how exactly it's going to work out, but it will work out. So that looks a bit brighter, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll add bits of silver in between. I don't think I'll add black, although it might be interesting. The iridescent orange yellow looks bright here in the camera, but actually in reality it doesn't look very bright in front of me, so I'm not sure. I might need to do another layer of orange over it, or another layer of the iridescent orange yellow, but I'm going to just put some patches of black on the kois and some patches of silver to make them a bit more visible through the pearlescent, maybe a bit more interesting. And they do need an eye, and I don't know, gill. Well, maybe you can see the side of his head there, and this one's got his face forward. And then I'll put a little pearlescent in those eyes. Well, I added the black and silver, and I don't like the outcome, and I don't have plain orange, so I'm doing another layer of the pearlescent, iridescent orange yellow, but this time just pure paint with no water added, and hopefully that will make them brighter. Paint over some of the black. Black was quite liquid. And they come in all different configurations from the photos I've seen. There even seem to be yellow ones. And obviously they have scales on them, which I'm not going to go into that sort of detail here. You won't see it under the water. Maybe you will if you have super duper vision, but it certainly doesn't apply to me. Anyway, as long as they just look like fish swimming under the water. That's my goal. And as long as the orange is clear, and bright enough. Got a little bit fuzzy. Water's moving, so, and the fish are moving, so I'm just not going to see. I catch a glimpse of orange moving in the water. Actually, the painting was supposed to be about the lilies on the lily pond. The fish are on the side. That is all part of the painting. All shows the beauty of nature. The second layer definitely, and using it solid as opposed to the liquid mixture I had before, is definitely an improvement. My bowl of fruit, I did a second layer of pearlescent, so that made it thicker and darker. The first layer didn't give enough of a glassy look. And I'm hoping that now that I've actually painted the canvas green, when I pour the pearlescent over it, it will give a glassy look. I won't need to do a second layer, of dry paint. Anyway, we'll see. I think it looks better now. The painting dried beautifully, and in the right light, the orange looks, the copper looks just amazing. I have the light behind me, but there you can see it. So I think it is going to look amazing under the pearlescent, which I will pour out now and then blow out. That's how it's blown out, not at all the way I wanted it to. And it doesn't look transparent right now. And perhaps using it as a pour is just not going to work. Maybe I needed to paint it on. I don't know, because I haven't seen anyone else doing this. But then I'm not really watching other artists, but what I have seen in the past, no one's used it as a base or tried to do the things that I'm trying to do. So I may have to just put it down to an experiment, but there I've smoothed it out a bit better. You can see a bit of the gold and the green underneath, but of course what will be visible once it's dry is anyone's guess. But I'm now going to lay down the colours of the blooms. I'm going to do one here, one there, one in the centre, and if anything of the fish is visible, well, that would be great. If not, I'll have to paint them on, I guess. So I'm putting down little bits of pink, and I'm just blowing straight up little blossoms, and then I'll shape them with my finger. So pink, and then I'm going to put some magenta over them as well. So I'm blowing these out, and then the idea was to put some green leaves around the side as well. So we'll see. Movement. Well, the pearlescent doesn't really flow very well. But it may be pretty enough there. Not thick enough, I don't know. I'll leave those for a minute and add the green on. going to add another little different green on top. I added 2 extra greens just to help it flow because it's really not moving. Over parts of the fish, unfortunately, but there's one there, and I don't know where the other one is. Anyway, I'm going to shape these blossoms now, these water lilies, and maybe I'll use a brush for that. Well, this one needs to be blown out. I'll first shape it and then blow it out. Shape it down like that. Small because this is a small canvas, small circular canvas. So they're going to the center, and I'll have to paint in a center afterwards. And hopefully the shape will look better when I use the straw. And then I'll also shape the leaves into some sort of heart-shaped leaves. The Pearlescent is very thin, so it should show, what's underneath should show through. I can just make out orange, but I want it more than that. So this is going to be, I don't know, a large heart-shaped leaf. And then this can be 2 heart-shaped leaves. This is definitely hiding the fish under there. It's just too bad, I guess.